Hello and welcome to Raposo Crochet Along. Congratulations to this team and this designer for all of the members that have joined, and I'm excited to work with you through this crochet along to celebrate this milestone of 15,000 members. So we're going to gather our supplies. You can use whatever size, weight of yarn and suitable hook for that yarn as you wish, depending on what the project will be. So be sure to read the introduction to find out more about that. I'm using some mercerized cotton in a very light DK weight, almost a sport weight yarn for mine. You can see I've made one of the motifs that we're making for this first week. I'm going to switch my blue and my green colors on the motif that I'm making along with you right now. The two different colors, especially of the final round, will be helpful as we learn how to join them together later on through this crochet along. So grab your supplies and we'll begin. I forgot to mention that you may want to go up a size or two in your hook size if you're wanting it to have a fair bit of drape. So if you're making a shawl or wrap or even a blanket that you want to have nice drape, you can go up a hook size or two. So we'll start with the magic ring for round 1. We're going to make 8 single crochet into the magic ring. I like to chain 1 first on mine. So we'll make 8 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We will join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch. We can go ahead and fasten off. Total stitch count 8 single crochet. Round 2, color white is suggested. We're going to make V stitches in each of the single crochet. So my first V stitch, I'm starting with a standing double crochet. If you prefer to join with a slip stitch and chain 3 as the first double, you may do so. So it's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch to form a V stitch. And we'll just work around placing a V stitch in each of the single crochet. So double crochet, chain 1 in each stitch of round 1. When you've worked your way around, you can join to the starting stitch and fasten off. Needle join and prefer using that method to join and fasten at the end of each round, you're welcome to do that way as well. So 8 V stitches, which makes 24 stitches this round. So round 3, you may want to have some stitch markers handy to make it easier for a further round to mark a stitch. And I'll show you where to use those if you wish. We're going to start, green is suggested color. We're starting in and working in the chain 1 spaces from last round, skipping all other stitches. So we're going to start with a single crochet. If you wish, you can join with a slip stitch and chain 1, and then make your single crochet. We'll place a double crochet in that same chain space. Then we're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to turn and look at the back side of the chain, and we can see these extra loops or bumps on the back of the chain. We'll skip the first, second, and third one, and in the 4th back bump, 1, 2, 3, here it is in the 4th back bump, we will make a slip stitch. So we just insert our hook under that back loop or bump and make a slip stitch. Now we're going to mark this chain, and I like to mark it before I actually finish the slip stitch to make sure I've got the space created by the chain. Finish my slip stitch, chain 1, and then double crochet in that same space and single crochet as well. You want to be careful that you always keep the right side facing you. Sometimes after you make that slip stitch, your work spins or turns. So I want to make sure we're working with the right side facing. And we'll just continue that in each of the chain spaces around. So single crochet, double crochet, chain 5, slip stitch in that 4th back bump from your hook, placing a stitch marker, chain 1, double crochet back in the space, single crochet in that space, and so on. So I'll let you work that 8 times around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. So when you've worked your way around, you will just join to the starting stitch with a slip stitch or your preferred method of joining to finish off this round. You'll have 16 singles, 16 double crochet, 8 chain 3 spaces, 8 slip stitches, 16 chain 1 spaces. So that's the chain space before and after the slip stitches. Round 4, dark pink is suggested. We want to start in the space of round 2 between these 2 double crochet, but we're going to work behind the round we just made. So you may want to fold that forward. I kind of like to go from behind and check that I'm from the front side, that I'm getting between that space, like so. But we're going to start with a double crochet. So you'll want to yarn over first and working between those 2 double crochet of round 2, folding round 3 to the front. Oops, my yarn over, there we go, and finish the double crochet. So from the front side, if I fold 3 up, you can see how that peeks through behind. We will chain 2. Now we're going to work what is being labeled as a back post single crochet around the slip stitch. So we can see here our loops of the slip stitch we made last round into that back bump of the chain. So we're just going to insert from the back where that stitch marker is in the chain, and we want to insert our hook around those 2 loops and back out that space towards the back, pull up our loop and finish a back post single crochet around that slip stitch. Okay, and again, when you fold it up, you'll see just a tiny bit peeking through. Chain 2. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So that double crochet between the 2 doubles of round 2, chain 2, then the back post slip stitch coming in where the stitch marker is, around both of those loops back through that other space for the single crochet. So you can go ahead and work this all the way around. Working the chain 2 in between the double crochet and the single crochet. And when you've worked around, you can join to your starting double crochet and fasten off. So you should have 8 double crochet, 8 back post single crochet, 16 chain 2 spaces for a total of 48 stitches this round. And the back will look something like this. I leave all my ends until I'm done the motive. So you'll see my tails hanging out. Round 5, using color pink, we will be working only in the double crochet from round 5. So finding one of those, we're going to start with a popcorn. Our popcorn we're using is 4 double crochets. So I'm starting with a standing double crochet. If you prefer to slip stitch and chain 3 for the first double, you may. We'll place 4 double crochets in any of the double crochet from last round. Then to form the popcorn, we remove our hook from the loop, insert from the front to the back under the top loops of the first double crochet, pick up the loop, pull through, chain 1 to close for our popcorn stitch. That closing chain does not count as a stitch. And we'll chain 5. And we'll repeat that around. So finding the next double crochet from last round, we'll place 4 double crochet in that stitch. So that's 2, 3, and 4 double crochet. Remove the loop from your hook, insert the first stitch, pull through, close with a chain, and chain 5. So I'll let you work that all the way around. You want to join to our starting popcorn to fasten off, and I'll show you my join in case you're not familiar with how to do that. So as we make our way around, I've done my last chain 5. We're going to join to our starting stitch. I like to insert my hook into the center, or what's called the eye of the popcorn, and pull out my loop, and then fasten off. 8 popcorns and 8 chain 5 spaces. So we're going to start working round 6. Blue is the suggested color. We're going to start around any of the popcorn, inserting our hook around the back of the popcorn. So in front of both of those chain 5s, yarn over, pull the loop up, yarn over, pull through 2 for a front post single crochet around the popcorn. In this chain 5 space, we will place 4 single crochet. That's 2, 3, and 4. Coming down to round 3, where we have those spaces marked with our stitch markers, we'll place a single crochet in that space that is marked, and then you can remove the marker. Then we want to make 4 more single crochet in that same chain space. So I'm just sliding my stitches across to the first popcorn to make a bit more room for these next 4 single crochet. 3 and 4. And we'll work that around. Front post single around the popcorn, 4 singles in the chain space, coming down to the marked space, placing a single crochet in there, 4 more single crochet in that same space. So you can continue that all the way around. You will join with a slip stitch to the starting front post single crochet at the end of this round. 8 front post single and 72 single crochet for 80 stitches. Round 7, using white, we are going to be making 4 double crochet in the front post single that we worked around the popcorn stitch. So I'm starting with a standing double crochet. You can join with a slip stitch and chain 3 if you prefer. So 4 double crochet in this front post single. I've got 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1. And then we want to place 4 more double crochet in this next single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we'll skip the other stitches, and we want to find the single crochet we made in that chain 3 space, And we're going to work a front post single around that. So insert your hook around the back of that stitch out to the front again, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 for that front post single. And then we'll repeat that around. We'll find that front post single we worked around the popcorn and place those 4 double crochet in there. 2, 3, 4, chain 1, 4 double crochet in the next stitch, and then front post single around the single crochet that we made in that chain 3 space. So you can work that all the way around. At the end of the round, you will join to our starting double crochet and fasten off. 8 shells of 8 double crochet chain 1 plus 8 front post single crochet for a total of 80 stitches. Round 8, color green is the suggested color. We're going to be making back post double crochet 2 together for our stitch this time. So we're going to start working around the first 2 double crochet of any shell. So we yarn over, insert the hook from the back around the front of that post of the stitch out to the back to pull up our first loop, yarn over, pull through 2, leaving 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again, insert around the next stitch to pull up the first loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's our first back post double crochet 2 together. Chain 3, and we'll work that same around the next 2 stitches. Back post double crochet 2 together. Chain 3, we'll skip the chain 1 space, work another back post double crochet 2 together around the next 2 stitches. Chain 3, and one last back post double crochet 2 together using the 7th and 8th stitches of this first shell. So 4 back post double crochet 2 together with a chain 3 in between each of those. We do not chain 3 here, but we'll start the set of back post double crochet 2 together on the next shell. Chain 3, and so on. So you can continue that all the way around, remembering to make the chain 3 in between those 2 together stitches, except for when we go between the shells. There's no chain in between. When you've worked around, you will join to the start of our double crochet 2 together to fasten off. 32 back post double crochet and 24 chain 3 spaces. Round 9, using white, we're going to start at the first back post double crochet 2 together made in any of the shells. We'll work a front post single around that stitch, 3 single crochet in that chain 3 space, 1, 2, and 3. Front post single around the next, back post double crochet 2 together. We'll do that 3 times. 3 singles, front post single, 3 singles, and a front post single crochet. And then we'll just repeat that around each of the shells. So remember not to work anything in between the shells, and just start the next shell with that front post single and the 3 single crochets in the chain 3 spaces. So you can go ahead and work that all the way around, joining to our starting stitch to fasten off. 32 front post single crochet, 72 singles for a total of 104 stitches. Round 10, using dark pink, we want to start in the front post single made around the second of those back post 2 together stitches of any shell. So finding the second one in there, we will single crochet in that front post single, the second one. Chain 3, and we'll single crochet in this next front post single, chain 3. Then we're going to make a bead stitch in the space between the last front post single of this shell and the first of the next shell. So we want to be careful that we're not in the top loops of the stitch, but we go under sort of that third loop you can see here. We want to make sure we're in between those 2 stitches. So to make the bead stitch, we start with a double crochet in between those 2 stitches. And then we're going to work around this post of the double crochet we just made. So we insert our hook under that post to pull up a loop like we're doing a single crochet, but we leave those 2 loops on the hook. Then we yarn over, and we want to keep that fairly loose. Insert a hook again to pull up another loop. Yarn over, insert again to pull up another loop. And then we'll yarn over, so we should have 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and close with a chain 1 to make the bead stitch. So it's sort of like a puff stitch around that double crochet. You can think of it like that, although the first one we don't yarn over. Then we will chain 3 and repeat that around. So in the second front post single of this shell, we place a single crochet, chain 3, and in the next front post single, we single crochet, chain 3, and then work that bead stitch starting with a double crochet, making sure it's under that extra loop, so between those 2 front post singles. And working around that post as though we're making a single and a half, and you need to keep those yarn overs a bit loose or you might not be able to pull all the way through the loops. Chain 1 to close, chain 3, and start again. So you can go ahead and work those all the way around, joining to our starting single crochet and fastening off. 16 single crochet, 8 bead stitches, 24 chain 3 spaces for a total of 96 stitches. Round 11, blue is the suggested color. We want to find any set of these 2 single crochet between the bead stitches from the last round, but we're going to work into the round 9 stitches, so that middle or that second single crochet that we skipped, but working behind this chain 3. So I'm just going to fold the chain 3 over. We see those 3 single crochet. We're going to start in this second one. We'll place 3 single crochet in that stitch to start this round. 1, 2, and 3 single crochet. Then on round 10, in this chain 3 space just before the bead stitch, we're going to place 3 single crochet and 2 half stitches or half double crochet stitches. So 3 singles, 2 half double crochet. Chain 1, we'll skip the bead stitch, and in this next chain space we will place 2 half double crochet and 3 single crochet. So I'll work that repeat one more time with you. Between the singles of round 10 into that second single of round 9, behind that chain 3 space, we'll place 3 single crochet. Then in the chain space before the bead stitch, we will place 3 single crochet and 2 half double crochet. Chain 1, and then working in the space past the bead stitch, we will place 2 half double crochet and 3 single crochet. So you can go ahead and repeat that all the way around, joining to our starting single crochet at the end of this round. So you should have 72 single crochet, 32 half double crochet, 8 chain 1 spaces for a total of 112 stitches. Round 12, this is our final round for part 1. We will be, or green is the suggested color. Of course, I have switched my green and the blue. So we want to start in the chain 1 space above any of these bead stitches. We will place a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in that same space. Then we want to chain 5. Be careful not to be tight in your chains. We don't want them too loose, but we don't want them to pull, so we need to make sure they aren't too tight. So in the second single crochet of the 3 we made behind this chain 3, we're going to work a double, but we want to pull that stitch to the front. So I insert my hook under that chain 3 space, grab the top loops of the stitch to pull it to the front, and then I'll make my double crochet. So yarn over first, and then pull your stitch through to finish the double crochet. Chain 5, and repeat that. In the chain 1 space, we'll do the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, then chain 5, yarn over, insert under that chain and into that second stitch, pull the stitch to the front, complete the double crochet, and chain 5. So again, you can continue that all the way around. We'll join to our starting single crochet to finish off this round. "16 single crochet, 8 double crochet, 8 chain 3 spaces, and 16 chain 5 spaces for a total of 128 stitches. And that ends part 1. You will want to be sure to get all those ends sewn in before we work on to the next part. There's lots of ends. If you're doing a lot of motifs for your project, you might even want to make all of the round 1s at once and then sew those ends in, then do all of the round 2 through all the motifs, sew those ends in, and so on. It is not recommended to leave them at until the very end of the project because there are so many. So enjoy making part 1, and I'll see you back here for part 2.